Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out a subreddit which is best of updates on Reddit. So if you do love a Reddit story, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. This is a long one, so strap in. And it's from Supply Xmas or Get the Fuck Out. Titled, "We, husband 32 male and me 26 female, have been told by his brother 37 male and sister-in-law 30s that we should supply all Christmas gifts for the kids due to our lack of kids. My husband has a very large family. In total, I think his father has about 8 brothers and sisters. They all got married and had 2 to 6 children each. Now all their children are grown up and starting families as well. We're looking at easily, I believe, 15 children in the family as of right now. We all get together for Christmas every year at his grandparents' house. Sounds great, right? Right. Normally, after Thanksgiving or on Thanksgiving, which they also all get together for, we pick names for the children's gift swap. There is also a men and women gift swap, which my husband and I, who do not have children, join in on. Now, to give you an idea of how the gifting has been the last 10 years. Husband and I would buy gifts for his parents, his brother and wife and their 4 kids. Great. Awesome. Works fine. Last year they said they would rather we just bought gifts for the kids, so we did. Same thing, we'd always gotten them books at their reading level, PJs and a puzzle of some kind. They were upset, but we couldn't place why. We also didn't get any gifts at all, which we didn't comment on, but my husband admitted he was a bit hurt to get nothing from his parents versus his brother and sister-in-law getting gifts. I'm not a super social person, so I spent most of Thanksgiving reading a book and watching one of the youngest cousins sleep. Eventually we all gathered up so the kids could draw names of their cousins for the gift swap. They finished that up and then husband's brother, who we'll call Timmy, says, and Uncle Husband will buy all the kids a gift too. Cue my husband and I giving him looks of, the fucking fuck you. We laughed and said, oh no, we'll just be bringing the candy again this year. His brother then started in that we should buy all of the children gifts since we have none, and that it wasn't very Christian of us to not bless the children with our good fortune. My husband at this point pulled him aside into the kitchen and told him he wasn't buying all of the cousins' gifts, and if he wanted to, he was welcome to. They started to argue and Timmy yelled that we shouldn't come to Christmas anymore. I handed over the baby. We left, said we'll email them about it later when they calm down enough to talk like adults. I just like someone else's viewpoint. My husband is really upset and his parents are agreeing with Timmy that we should be given more gifts since we have no one to buy them for but kids now. He threw the fact that we get no gifts from anyone at them and they said we were adults now and Christmas is for the kids. He pointed out they gifted Timmy and his wife things still, but they said that we'd already bought it, might as well. But I have been shopping with his mother and she bought gifts for Timmy's wife, Candy, again this year. I'm frustrated and feel like no one is handling any of this well, and I want to step in and help my husband, but I want someone else to look at this mess before I do anything other than listen and offer suggestions of using I feel, when you, to his parents. Edit. I've read all the comments and replies to some. I'm out, but when I get home I will edit this or reply to comments more. Thank you for all the insight. Edit 2, replied to some comments, showed husband thread, sent email, haven't been answering phone calls from them, asked them to please just read and reply via email so that we have time to think and respond calmly. Got a lot of nasty voicemails for it, going to let them simmer some more and keep ignoring their calls since they keep yelling. And we have multiple updates on this one as well. What is it with families like this thinking they're entitled to your money? I mean, you was kind enough before to buy gifts for children, but then Timmy to come out with that you should be buying every single child, what was it, 15 kids a gift? The absolute entitlement. And I try to always picture myself like in that room when, Timmy said, oh, and he's going to buy all the children a gift, and just trying to get a piece of that atmosphere because, oh my word, that must have been awful. And because none of them got you guys gift or the husband a gift, have they been like plotting this behind your back and talking about this, and that's why they put you on the spot? And would you want to be part of this sort of celebration in the future? Because if they're thinking of you in this way, why would you want to be a part of that? But hey, let's check out some of the comments to see what they say before we move on to the update. With Shelby Knits, who says, so you're supposed to buy gifts for 15 kids since you don't have any, and you get kicked out of Christmas if you don't. Sounds like it's time to start a new tradition that doesn't involve insane relatives. Maybe a cruise. Cruises are nice. El Shap in Colorado says they sell kazoos in bulk on Amazon for under $6. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Don't forget to encourage the kids to play with them as often as possible to develop their musical skills. After all, music helps kids with math or whatever. I can't remember what story it was. We covered a very similar story. I don't know if it was Christmas or a birthday. I think it was Christmas last time, and I think it was the uncle that was demanding the uncle buy some present. I think he bought like air horns and silly string and crazy stuff like that. And it went absolutely wild in the house, and he just walked out when it all kicked off. It was absolutely amazing. A deleted user says, "Holy crap, what a bunch of selfish and manipulative people. That's the most ridiculous suggestion I've ever heard. Now, I don't know if you're child-free, not at that stage in your life yet, or have been trying but haven't conceived. But it doesn't freaking matter. Just because you don't have kids doesn't mean you have to buy presents for everyone else's kids. That's insane. I don't even know how anyone would justify that, honestly. If it comes up again, ask them to explain why they think that's an appropriate thing to ask, and state that while you're glad you have all your nieces and nephews, you don't think it's reasonable for you to be expected to buy them all gifts. Ask if they're going to get you a present from every one of your nieces and nephews. If they bring up that you're not being very Christian BS, remind them that true Christianity is not about stuff, it's about love, not cheap crap from Walmart." Another deleted user says you could make a donation in the kid's name, like one of those charities that gives a goat or something. You don't have to disclose exactly how much, then sit back and watch your family members squirm. They won't be able to guilt you over Christian generosity. Glitter and Pearl says, "Okay, to get this straight, your in-laws got your brother-in-law and sister-in-law gifts last year, but not you and your husband. That's incredibly rude. It's also incredibly rude for your brother-in-law mentioning something about the two of you buying gifts for 15 kids in front of them. He was basically attempting to manipulate the two of you into buying the kids gifts because he figured you wouldn't say no in front of the children. If your history has been to consistently only buy gifts for your in-laws and brother-in-law and sister-in-law and their kids, there is no reason to expect that you would buy gifts for the other 11 kids. You and your husband need to discuss this issue with your brother-in-law because it's a stupid reason to be uninvited to Christmas. Just to mention that you are going to do what you've been doing for the last several years and only buying presents for the smaller group within the family. I would not give in when it comes to this issue, because it will show brother-in-law that he can continue to use family's children to get you and your husband to do things that you didn't necessarily want to do. And in reference to the Christian thing to do, the Christian thing to do is not even to exchange gifts, since it's not necessarily the point of Christmas in all honesty. The point of gift exchange is to make sure that none of the families have an unnecessary burden placed on them by having to buy gifts for every person and child in the family. I hope this all works out, because it seems like a petty thing for your brother-in-law to get upset about and try to uninvite you from Christmas. Deanie Bop says, and quotes, "It wasn't very Christian of us to not bless the children with our good fortune." Then goes on to say, "Dear brother-in-law and sister-in-law, we thought about what you said and decided to be more Christian in our giving this year. We have therefore decided to give all the money we would have spent on presents for our already very fortunate family to an orphanage or homeless charity in your name. God bless and Merry Christmas." And one more from the Babes too, who says, and quotes, "And that it wasn't very Christian of us to not bless the children with our good fortune." And then says, "I think brother needs to sit on church a bit more often. If anything, we're advised against materialism. Giving, of course, is encouraged, but not the purpose of greed. Gift giving is an act of goodwill, not obligation. If he's all about spreading fortune and goodwill, let him know that you made 4 donations for Toys for Tots in honor of your nieces and nephews. Edit, more than 4. Holy cow, yeah, they are insane. Jerks. These people are awful. Definitely don't capitulate here. His parents are so wrong for taking sides on this." Now, what are your thoughts so far on this story? Let me know, and we're going to move on to our first update. So, update. Thanks for everyone who came and tossed in their 2 cents. It was wonderful to hear from other people without having to worry if they would repeat my chatter to the other party involved. So, I'm not 100% sure where I should start. I'm about 3 drinks in just to calm myself. For one, I did show my husband the post after we talked. I brought up T-Day 2015 and asked him if he wanted some more input than I'd normally give him on his family drama. He said yes. I pointed out the favoritism of his brother over him in almost anything. I made a list showing times when it happened where they and he were fully in the wrong just to prove a point. We went over the text from his brother, sister-in-law, mother, father, aunt and cousin. Just to recap names: brother, Timmy; sister-in-law, Candy; mother Rhonda, father Keith, aunt Kira, cousin Ben, husband Todd. This is shorter than husband. I'm lazy. So the day I posted, after we went over the text, which started after we missed their call and went up until we sent the email, all just spiteful shit about how we waste our money, time and life volunteering and don't spend enough time with their children, cousins' children, family anymore. It started out telling Todd he was being a candy ass bitch who was whipped by his cold, harpy, child-hating wife and just degraded from there. Todd only sent back a few saying he'd email him about it and asking him to not talk about me. So we sent the email. Here is basically what we sent. I semi-edited it. Todd sent it and it was just from him. We almost added in his parents but decided we'd just forward it to them if it got really out of hand. No problem, Timmy did it for him. The email said, "Tim, I'm sending you an email so we can talk about what happened on Thanksgiving. I think this would be much better for both of us, since when we are heated, we say things rashly. You didn't give me much time to think about it, so here it goes. I don't understand why you volunteered us to buy gifts. We are happy to buy gifts for your children, as we have every year. Is there something going on? Is someone having financial problems? While we would gladly help anyone who asked, as we have before, you should recall Kathy and Kiki 2 years ago. You helped too. Being set up in front of young children was rude, not to mention you telling us we aren't allowed at Christmas now. The texts and angry voicemails were also uncalled for. Please take some time and get back to me. Hope we can work this out, as our family is very important to us. Todd." Then goes on to say, "Yes, well, that went over as well as water on a grease fire. For one, Timmy forwarded the email to Rhonda and Keith, Kira and Ben. That was rude, but we were going to do the same thing either way. Ben sent us an email letting us know what Timmy did and said he was sorry he wasn't there to jump in, but would try and talk to Timmy. Timmy and Ben are actually really close, so it was nice to see he thought Timmy was being unreasonable as well, since they are normally very close and like-minded. I'm not going to put his email here, I'm just going to highlight what he said and tell you what Keith and Rhonda said in their email and visit. I am cold. I am a cold, child-hating harpy and I sleep around. I'm an atheist or a Muslim or something he never really picked. I'm dragging Todd from the church and his family. We don't spend any time at all with family anymore. We never spend any time with our nibblings. We are wasting our life, time, money volunteering with animals. Helping/wanting to help refugees was un-American, and this is my fault since I am a first-generation American and don't understand what it means to be one/deserve to live here. I'm rude and never talk to them unless it's about animal rescue or animal rights." Yeah, so, at this point we're kinda laughing and crying and kinda shocked. We spent the rest of the day cleaning up our house and talking about what we wanted to do or reply back. We hadn't checked our email and we'd stuck our phones on vibrate and were just trying to enjoy our day off together. They're pretty rare sadly, so surprise, his parents drove all the way out to talk to us. I say talk, but it was more like being talked at. They asked me to leave so they could talk to Todd about his actions and rude email. Todd said no, said I was his family and his wife and were handling this together. They then tried to convince us that we had said fuck in front of the family. We didn't. That we had tried mentioning buying gifts for everyone before. That we didn't love Jesus anymore since we hadn't been going to church and some of what Timmy has sent in his email too. When his father started to insult me, and then in turn my father, Todd was done. He stood up and said, "Thank you for coming to visit us in our home for the first time, but we have errands to run and you need to leave now." They refused. He told them they had to go now or he'd have to call the police. They left. He cried. I cried. Our cats knocked over their cups. We ended up calling my dad and telling him everything as well as showing him both emails. He told us they have before talked shit about me/us to him. "You should be able to fix your child still, we're still working on ours," was something he told us had been said. We decided we aren't going to their Christmas either way. I told Todd I can't go back there again, nor can I look at any of them the same again. I knew they'd always not liked me as much as some of the other daughter-in-laws, but I didn't notice to that extent. They have always been nice and polite to my face, invited and included me in all events. No one had ever said anything to Todd either. As it stands, I'm waiting for my dad and brother to get into town and then we're going to sit down and decide what we would like to do. Todd said he just wants it to be small and doesn't mind where Christmas happens and said he felt closer to my dad and brother anyway. We told Ben what happened and shipped his gift to him. I haven't decided yet what I will do with the Nibblings gifts, but I already donated all of the adult gifts. I'd also like to add I'm not of another ethnicity. My father is German and moved to the US when he was 20 to marry my mother. So I'm a pasty white chick, but I guess since my dad isn't American, that's bad. Now we're going to move straight into update 2. I wish this update was, we all made up and Christmas will be so great, but it's not. Yesterday we had a small Christmas party with some friends since we will all be leaving the 24th for a holiday. Myself, Todd, Dad and brother, who I will name Theo. My friend Sandy grew up near me. We've been friends for years and she became friends with Timmy and his wife too. They are friends together on Facebook. We had told her that there was a tiff but didn't elaborate to not damage their friendship. Big mistake. Since she tagged us in a "woo, look at my gift" /QQ, my friend is leaving me for Christmas post. The photo is of the two of us drinking while dancing around a new Roomba. I will note this isn't just for her Christmas, it's for her Christmas birthday and a new wedding as well as a housewarming gift. Her and her soon-to-be husband Bill just bought a new townhouse near us. I normally wouldn't buy something that expensive just for Christmas. So, Timmy saw the post. Not only did he take offense to us drinking, none of them drink and are against drinking, he really flipped his lid about her getting a Roomba. He lost his crap in the comments and then showed up at our apartment. I was in the shower when Timmy showed up. I heard someone knocking on the door, which had to be pretty loud to hear it, all the way in the main bathroom shower. I finished the shower around midway through Todd and Tim fighting. Todd said he was beating the door down. He opened the door and refused to let Tim in any further than the hallway. Tim was yelling at him about the gift, about his lack of church going, about us going out of town, demanding his kids' gifts. I donated them, and asking where we got off on buying such a pricey gift for someone who isn't related and being selfish assholes about gifting the other children. So around this point I come out the shower after putting on PJs. It's nearly 1 AM now. I came out to see Timmy. I'm kinda shocked. Todd tells him it's late and we can talk about this when we get back from holiday with a pastor. He pushed Todd. Todd falls back into the wall, putting a dent into it. This woke my dad and Theo. I moved in front of Todd since Tim was pulling back to hit him. He hit me, knocking me down on top of Todd. Dad and Theo restrained him. Our next door neighbor was woken up and called 911. Cops showed up, separated all of us. We told them what had happened, didn't tell them about the other problems, shortened it up to there had been a Christmas disagreement. They had also called an ambulance since Todd cut his arm on a dish that broke and my face was quickly turning purple. The EMS who showed up know Todd and were very upset about him and I being hurt. The cops asked us if we wanted to press charges. I started to say no, Todd said yes, so Tim was arrested. We went to ER since Todd needed some stitches. Our phones have been blowing up ever since. I turned mine off after I told Sandy she needed to not let Tim and Candy see any of the posts about us since they are pissed at us. She said okay. I went through and unfriended / grouped anyone who has also friends with any in-law family into a restricted group so they can't see anything we're up to again. I hope. Rhonda and Keith have been blowing up Todd's phone. He's only answered them in text with what happened, that we would not drop charges or pay his bail, and to stop contacting us at all. Between the last update and this one, we had talked to some of the other family members and they all said they disagreed with Timmy. His grandparents said they did too, but they couldn't host the Christmas and couldn't stop him from uninviting us. They said they would talk to him and we were like, okay cool, but maybe next year we can be friends again. That isn't the case anymore at all. There is no coming back from this. We'll be filing a restraining order when we get home. Todd is talking about us moving out of our home state. Dad and Theo think it's a good idea. Dad is annoyed that I wouldn't let him hit Tim, so he's sulking a bit. But I think it's more that he's upset that we have lost another family basically. So yeah, I get to enjoy my trip with a black eye and cheek. Todd has a 4-inch gash on his arm. Dad is sulking and Theo is happy since he's smoking stuff. So, A+ Christmas. One of the bits that made me really chuckle in this, and I laughed, and I'm sorry I laughed because I wasn't laughing at them crying, but he said, like, husband cried, she cried, and then the cats knocked over the cups, and I was just like, oh, typical cats, don't give a shit what's going on around, all this drama's going on around them. Cat's just like, where's my food at? And this Roomba's just going around the room at the same time, I don't know. It's wild. And I think no contact in, no coming back from this is the best of this situation. Would you want to be involved with that family for him to come around and knock on the door after what they were saying previously in the previous posts? I want to say not the arsehole, but we're on the wrong subreddit again, so. But what an absolute roller coaster of a story. What do you guys make of this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What would you do if you was in OP's shoes right now? Do you think you could ever forgive the family and get back involved with them, or would you just like cut ties and, you know, do your own thing? It certainly sounds like that's what husband wants at this moment too. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this story in the comments below. Would love to hear them as always. Thank you for spending your time with me, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.